Impressions, silicon impressions are the best, but I do get impregnum impressions as well, medium body. We can work with them, they're okay. Alginate impressions, cast them yourself, but you can work with them. The detail's not so good. But if you're going to send it any distance to anyone, you can't use alginate impressions. Or you're going to wait before you cast the models. Bite, if you've got one. If the occlusion is difficult, then it's good to give the bite. If the occlusion's evident, you don't need to give the bite. Oh, don't go back. Here you can see I received the model, I had to repair it because there was a little chip. Sometimes I see a part of the model and I'm not 100% sure, has it been damaged or is it actually like that, the tooth? And if I'm not 100% sure, I'll still block out a bit. Because what does it mean? If I block out a small corner, it just means there's a space inside my tray and the tray still fits in the mouth. But if I don't block that out and they put the LC block out into it, the tray will not fit and will rock. So that's quite important to see. The master models received and poured. We check for any faults, any blows you have to fill in, and we mark the long axis and the FA points. As Enrique said, that's a really important part of the job, is marking the axis lines, and for me also the FA points. And also I invented a jig to make the model parallel to the horizontal occlusal line as described by Andrews. So when you get the values for MBT and Andrews and all the brackets, what they did was they measured the models from the horizontal occlusal line. When you've got malocclusion models, it's difficult to get a plane. If you put it on something, you've got one tooth that's longer than other teeth, etc. It's not even. Left and right maybe it's not even. It's got a cant. But if you measure the center line of the FA points of the centrals and the first molars and you triangulate them, that gives you what Andrews calls the invisible horizontal occlusal line. And I invented a jig so I could reference my models to that before bonding, because it meant that every model would have been standardized. I'll admit to you now, I'm not sure if it's relevant. I'm not sure if that's relevant. It's just another step I made in the lab procedure, because in 2006 in New York somebody put the doubt in my head about preparation of the model before. And the block out wax that I use is from Renfair. It resists high temperatures. Now that's really important if you're going to follow the next steps that sometimes you have to follow, like I showed you with the individual jigs. I want to make a duplicate model. Yeah, you can take an alginate impression of your model if you want. Up to you. I like to do it with duplicating gel. Like you would for the removable denture technique, for the casting technique. The gel is very accurate. It gives you an accurate model. I know because I did precision attachments with it. If it'd been the slightest bit wrong, it wouldn't have fit. I mean the slightest bit wrong. But I've done it with alginate before when I was in a rush. I wasn't happy with the results at all. But the choice is yours. But if you block out a model before you're using gel, then make sure you use proper block out wax and not denture wax. I block out now the models. I didn't used to block out too much. And then I thought, well, okay, all of these areas, these undercuts. I don't block it all out. I block out the deepest part so that the tray inserts easily. Because what I do before is make the tray and then the girls just trim off those bits with the scalpel. It's a choice. You either block it out or you trim it with a scalpel. I just wanted to save some time in the last stages. But it is important, on the bonding side as well, if you get some deep crevices interproximal, and maybe when you're bonding the resin goes round and you don't see, and then when you're trying to get the bracket off with the tray, it's locking in somewhere on the model.